Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, inside the Wrestling Paradox podcast. I got our shirts, not the new ones. This one's still misspelled, but I'm getting the new ones coming. Don't you worry. First things first, gotta get the sponsorship out of the way. M&J Ecological. We want to thank them for keeping our natural habitats safe from invasive species. So if you guys have any invasive species in South Florida, geckos, iguanas, snakes, lizards, alligators, anything you do not want that's living in your yard or your house, such as your wife, ex-wife, baby mama, whatever you want to get rid of, give them a call, 305-697-2258. 305-697-2258. M&J Ecological hosting the show. And we love that M&J Ecological hosts the show because when they host the show, we get great guests on the show. First of all, you know who I am, and you know who my boy Chris is.
That's
But
me.
that's you. But we have a special guest on the show tonight. We have CCW's own Pharaoh. What's up, brother?
Yo, what's good?
How you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. Besides this damn
I know
cat,
you're not the
you
happiest person right now. It took you a long time to get on this show, so I'm sure you have quite a few things to say. But we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So first things first, welcome to the Paradox. Thank you for being on here.
thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was actually supposed to take place last week, but due to some complications in Pharaoh's schedule, we had to postpone it to this week. So the guy's a busy man. He's always on the road. What can we do, man? He's always busy, always obviously has all the pussy surrounding him right there with the kitty cat.
I didn't know that caught me off guard. I was like, "What the hell?"
Is it a cat? I saw the cat. All right, man. So Pharaoh, let's get into it. Who are you?
I'm Pharaoh Johnson. Actually, my name is Brandon Johnson, but I've been wrestling in CCW for 3 years. I only had maybe 2 weeks of experience prior to that in Richmond, Virginia, at a company called GFW. It was the worst 2 weeks of my entire life. But yeah, I've been training for about 3 years. I've been wanting to be in the wrestling business since I believe I was 4 years old. And I just went along with it for like last, I guess, 21 years. So yeah, I've been wrestling for about 3 years now.
Well, you're obviously pretty successful in what you're doing because you're in the title picture right now in CCW, and your match against Santos is supposed to air here pretty soon on the live.
There tonight.
Yeah, it aired tonight, didn't it? Yes,
Yep.
it did. Yes, it
I
did.
didn't,
So,
I didn't watch that shit.
no,
No, I ain't watching that shit.
you
He
weren't a
didn't
fan
like
of the
the outcome.
match.
He didn't like the outcome.
I
Nah,
get it.
to be completely honest with you, I know I could do better. I just had a lot of personal things going on before that match came up. Before I can concentrate on that, that was a match I've been wanting to happen since the beginning of this year. I trained with Santos for the last 3 years before he went to Texas, so I've been wanting to showcase my wrestling ability against him. I thought that I could have had a really great match, but prior to things going on before the match and losing my luggage, losing my tights, had to wear women's leggings, and just I didn't feel comfortable out there, you know. So
No,
I mean,
yeah.
people say the match was good, but I don't think it was good. I know I could be 10 times better. I don't like watching anything that's fucking terrible.
Well, you're always
It's like
yeah,
watching a horrible ass movie. You can't watch a fucking terrible ass Netflix original movie that's fucking terrible. Like, you know what? I want to watch this shit. Everybody want to
yeah.
see A-level movie. Nobody want to see no B-level shit.
Your biggest critic is yourself in these
Right.
types of things, especially in wrestling, man. Every wrestler I've ever spoken to after a match or about a certain match, they they've always been critical on themselves. I could have done this better. I could have done this better. This should have been different. This could have been different, which is always great because you're going to take that to the next match and you're going to improve yourself every time. So hopefully, we'll dig in more into that match because I was actually up there. I flew up there live to watch you guys because, I support the product and this brand in particular so much that, hopefully the second match comes back for you with him and the title on the line, hopefully, and you guys can have the match that you're supposed to have. But right now I'm gonna let my boy Chris pick it up. Chris, so everybody can hear your beautiful voice. I know you're the actual voice of this show.
So, like, my biggest question is, who did you look up to growing up to get you into the wrestling? Not like your personal, like who made you, take that step into the wrestling business, but who'd you look and thrive to be growing up?
And why was it New Jack?
To be completely honest with you, it's not really who really motivated me. I just was a fan of wrestling. But I think when I was a kid, I always wanted to be the Rock, dude. Like my
Of
brother and I
course.
were always was the Rock, dude. I remember like my mom used to take us to like the barbershop and get that fresh tape edge, feel me? We used to go to the swap shop and get those little, those little stupid little Dragon Ball Z button up, silk shirts. And I used to, every time I used to go to the playground, dude, I had them dress slacks on and shit. I used to go out there and act like I'm the Rock and doing the eyebrow and stuff like that.
Hell
It
yeah,
was just,
man.
I mean, we was really big Rock fans, but at the time being too, we was like fans of the Hardys and stuff like that. I remember, I think I was like, I had to be like maybe in kindergarten or first grade when the invasion angle happened. So obviously I wasn't really alive to watch, the original, Monday Night Wars and
Attitude
ECW
era.
legacy stuff kind of later in at towards the end of that era. But I remember watching the invasion angle. And I remember I was just a fan of Booker T, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
just thought it was like, cause you know, everybody's a friend of The Rock, but for somebody my skin complexion and somebody that look like they could be somebody at our fish fry, something like that, like Booker T, and just like coming out there. I'm serious, like he was, dressed like one of my uncles. And bro, he was such a fantastic wrestler. So he had a
Yeah.
big impact. And I remember I did multiple years in high school doing amateur wrestling. And I did that because of Kurt Angle. So I knew that I wanted to be a wrestler by the time I got to high school. And I knew I wanted to do something similar that can help me in wrestling. I just started doing amateur wrestling. So I did that for multiple years.
So you
It's
had like,
funny. Oh,
so you had
yeah.
multiple like motivations and people that you wanted to be. You speak of Booker T. We're obviously a little older than you. Um, I'm a Booker T fan, or a version of Booker T that I'm a fan of is Harlem Heat.
Yes.
Um, he excelled, I think, more as a tag team. I mean, granted, he did excel as a solo, but as a tag team, there was no one better other than Harlem Heat with Booker T and Stevie Ray. I mean, he developed the spin of Rooney in WCW, the bicycle kick. It was just so good. If you ever get a chance, you gotta go back to watch like the mid '90s WCW Harlem Heat. They were they were good stuff.
Well, of course, I mean, right now I'm watching. Yeah, right now I'm watching. I'm at December '97, so I'm watching Nitro, Raw, and ECW. So I'm watching all of it. And like I
Okay.
said, at the time being, I was lucky too because my mom's ex-husband, his family was big wrestling fans. So I only got to watch SmackDown at the time because we had antenna TV. So we
Mm.
watched it on UPN. But they had, the WCWs, the Monday Night Raw and ECWs. So we had those on recorded VHS tapes. You'll have the cable box to the VHS. You just blank the tape and then you just record it. So I got to watch it. I just didn't get to watch it really much live. So I've been watching it for so long. I mean, I have tons of old content in my closet, but I think it just sucks that I wasn't alive to watch it, so I
Mm.
just can't have that same feeling. But you're right, Booker T. I think Harlem Heat is probably one of the greatest tag teams.
Oh,
Period.
hands down,
Easily,
hands down,
easily,
hands down.
easily. It's funny. Chris loved that version of Booker T was someone you looked up to, and Chris loved that version of him in Harlem Heat. Personally, overall, Booker T as a person, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he was in prison at one point, wasn't he?
Correct.
Yep.
For murder, was it, or something
Uh,
like
I
that?
don't, I don't know. I think it was a robbery.
A robbery. And for
Yeah,
somebody like him as a human being to bounce back and look what he's become. He's become such a respected member of not only the wrestling community but in Houston, where he's from. I
correct.
mean, I know he's made big impacts in Houston and everything he's done. So that's a great person to look up to. Booker T is definitely someone that, if you have an idol, Booker T should definitely be a person that should be your idol.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this wrestling organization, it's a Confederate organization, a Confederate business. It's usually maybe 90% Confederates run wrestling. That's why you see a lot of things that don't make sense when it comes to black wrestlers. But Booker T to MVP, these are guys who that are black that have done crimes, and when you get out of prison, you basically don't have nothing left. You're not going to amount to anything. For these guys to excel in a white man's creation, professional wrestling, and be at the top tier, it just says a lot. That's why, like, I look up to MVP not as just as a wrestler, but as a human being. He
Yeah.
trained. I think he trained at CCW. He's an original CCW wrestler. He has seminars. Fortunately, I missed it. I wish I could talk to him. Hopefully, one day I can like sit down and talk to him, same as Booker T. But those are prime examples of you just because you did bad in the past, you can't let your past predict the future.
Right.
And that's why
Making a
I think
bad
those
decision
guys are
doesn't
great.
make you a bad person at all.
Correct. We all make
Not at all.
mistakes.
We all make mistakes, and I was actually going to ask you if you had went to the seminars with MVP because we've asked numerous people the question of so many famous wrestlers have come through CCW. Who's someone that you sat down and listened to, or that you put your ear to the ground when they walked in and you pay attention to every move? And obviously, we won't get this answer from you, but 90% of the people we've asked that question to have said MVP. When MVP
Correct.
walks in, you listen. You shut
Yeah,
up and you stop talking.
I really haven't been to a lot of seminars since my time in CCW. I know I've been to people like Low Key. That's another guy. I think people don't really give him the full amount of respect.
I love that fucking
Yeah,
guy.
he's a
Me and
very
Chris are
intelligent
huge
guy.
fans of Loki,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Very
He-
intelligent
he's a
guy.
very misunderstood person.
Well, the funny thing was at the seminar, me and him clicked really easy because I got along. I understood everything he came from. So I think that was one guy I picked up a lot of stuff from too.
Yeah.
And a guy who I think is a very respected guy also too, being black in the wrestling business is Bobby Sanford, who's my manager. He put 20 years in the professional wrestling business. He was trained by Marty Jannetty. Outside of wrestling, he's a pretty big name, and he's literally what he says. He's Mr. Education. And every time I get to
Is that the
talk to
one we
him,
saw Saturday?
correct.
That's the
He's
guy we saw
very
Saturday. Cut the
yeah,
Biden joke.
yeah. He's
That place
very
went
very
quiet.
yeah. He's very intelligent, dude. And like if you're a wrestler, especially if you're a black wrestler, you should just go and talk to him, and you will pick up a lot of knowledge. Even though I know this man for 3 whole years, I just keep learning and keep learning and keep learning. And for him to tell certain people at my school, hey, I want to manage Brandon, I want to manage Pharaoh, it's just a big inspiration to me. So that's why I try to
That's
tell a lot
awesome,
of
man.
younger black wrestlers that come there that hey, you should kind of want to get to know him and try to learn stuff because you will learn stuff. And when he comes to train and give off little seminars and it's free, you should just take up on it and just gain so much knowledge you could get from.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. That's great to have someone to look up to like that in the community and things like that. That's willing to help others and express that hand to help.
Yeah. Now
Um,
I have a question now. This is gonna be one that's now we're going on the the black wrestlers in CCW. What sets you apart and sets you different than the other black wrestlers in CCW? Like Nazir, Bruce Leroy,
St. Patrick.
St. Patrick, what sets you apart? What's the drive and motivation to say, hey, I'm Pharaoh Johnson. I'm the number one. I'm going to lead this company.
I think a lot of times too. The sad thing about that about being black, and I understand the question about being in CCW, but I think just being I don't know. I don't really like that question, or because the reason why is because if you're black, you already put in this bubble with other black wrestlers.
Right.
It's like if you watch any other non-black wrestler, especially if they're white, they're different characters. They don't say, "Oh, look at this white boy from Texas and look at this white boy from New York." They just a character, right? So I think it sucks to be asked that question, and not saying you disrespected me because you didn't. You just asked me a question, but it's like you're already put in a bubble with a bunch of other guys who got different personalities,
I
different
think
so
I, I
what
styles.
sets you
nah,
apart from everybody else then?
yeah,
What
yeah.
sets you
I think
apart?
I said it wrong. I said I wanted to say like as a black wrestler, like what would say, hey, I'm gonna lead this company. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
what
the
sets you
race.
apart from Alex Ocean?
Yeah, exactly.
What sets you apart from Benny Blanco, St. Patrick? What sets you apart from these guys?
Well, what sets him
Right.
apart from Benny Blanco is he gets wins.
You right. You right.
Benny, I think the bad thing about the before I answer that question is I think Benny is very misunderstood. But I
Yeah.
understand Benny.
I
So
love Benny. I
people
love
people
Benny. We
don't
give him
understand him,
shit,
but
and
he's just
I was.
misunderstood.
You saw the
He's a good
spot.
guy.
You saw the spot Saturday. Obviously, I
Nah, not
posted it everywhere. Yes, you did. I posted it everywhere.
really.
I
So
love Benny
uh,
Blanco.
what
I can't
what
thank him enough for what he does.
what makes me different is I'm real. And I think
Okay.
that's a lot of people in there, not saying a lot of them, but so a lot of people will say, well, they will talk the talk, and yeah, they can back it up a little bit, but I'm 100% real. I'm not afraid to say what's wrong and what's not right. Well, I don't. If I think this is stupid, I think it's stupid. That's just how it is. The difference is that I made sure that CCW is good. I
Yeah.
try to give off information that can benefit CCW. Even with the newer guys, a lot of them didn't understand me at first, and probably thought I was an ass. But in reality, I'm trying to teach them things that was taught to me, so they don't make the same mistakes. And I'm doing
Yeah.
that for good intentions. A lot of people will tell you, "Hey, do this," and then do that, and then you do it and know it's wrong, and then the person does it wrong, and then it's just like, "Yo, what the hell?" I'm the type of person to say, "Hey, look, I'm more like your daddy." Unfortunately, it's just like, "Hey, man, get your ass out of it. Don't do that shit. Stay out of that." That's because I want the company to thrive. Me as a wrestler, what makes me set apart not only just from everybody else is, like I said, I'm real. I'm not afraid to say what I am. I'm not putting on a character. That's just me. That's just me, regardless. And a lot of times too, a lot of the guys are under 200. A lot of guys are maybe 210. I'm a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And
You're
I
a big
think
dude.
the other thing is I didn't have to necessarily put on a front to get people to hate me. I think I earned a lot of the fans' respect, and it just gradually people got behind me. Even when I try to be an ass, no matter what I do, I don't even get booed anymore. So I think that what sets me apart. Then I just, like I said, I looked the part for one. I'm 6'4". I'm pushing 240. Come on,
Yeah.
I
You
look like a
definitely.
heavy.
Yeah, you've definitely taken on the role of like a locker room leader, and the reason I say that is because I saw it firsthand. I know Chris when we walked into the event on Saturday. Chris kind of walked past me and went inside and did his thing. I don't know if you saw it, Chris, or not, but I'm not gonna say names of the person, but you were out there, Pharaoh, calming another person, another wrestler down because that wrestler was upset on the spot of the card or something like that, and you walked out there with him and you were the one like, hey, look, I understand, but this is what we got to do, blah, blah, blah. You took that leadership role, and you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so I saw that firsthand, man, and that actually gave me that put a lot of shit in perspective, and it made me respect you even more because I see you taking that leadership role, and I see you going to the wrestlers and saying, "Look, this is the way the job is. This is what it is. This is how it needs to get done." And that's something that, and trust me, no comparison whatsoever, but that's something that the Undertaker did a lot of in WWF. Is he made sure that he everything went accordingly planned, even if the wrestler who was getting wronged or whatever was happening didn't like it, Undertaker would go to him and say, "This is why it needs to get done." And I saw that from you Saturday to that other wrestler.
Yeah, because you don't want one thing is for sure, you don't want to make yourself look like an ass.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give people the wrong perception of yourself. But not just that, sometimes we question a lot of things. Sometimes I question a lot of shit. It's like, this doesn't make sense, or what the hell? I got to keep doing this, the same thing over and over again. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And it's easy for me to get, they can find somebody else, but if they chose you to be in a certain spot, then there's a reason to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in so many matches before I even actually became Pharaoh. I've been in like 6, 7 battle royals. I've been in lumberjack matches. I just been in silly shit, but I never really complained about it. I was just more thankful to say, hey, all right, I'm making a progression to be a wrestler, but I'm not fully a wrestler yet. And hey, I'm just training and I'm gonna keep learning. And that's what I looked at as. And I try to tell a lot of these young guys that, hey, I know sometimes what we say probably piss you off, or sometimes we be on a car and you just don't understand it. But 10 years from now, or a year from now, or months from now, you're gonna realize it was a reason for it, and you get back better. If they put you in this shitty situation, just make it great.
Right.
This is how it is. If you got one spot in a match, and that's for you to get choke slam by freaking Kane or somebody, and you're nobody, you want to make sure yourself look the part. oversell the shit out of it, and then you might end up getting a job. So you just got to look at it as that.
That's funny that you say that is because Joe and I were talking about that on the way home from Breaking Chains. It's kind of like a similar scenario like that. It doesn't matter where you are on the card, doesn't matter what you do, how long you're in the match, if you win or lose. If you do a good job, word travels. Like, people know people that know people that know people. That you can get a squash match on NXT or a squash match on AEW Dark or something. That just gets the foot in the door. You got to keep grinding. Like, if you go to get a job at Publix, you don't just get hired off the street and become a manager. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. What we saw walking in is the leadership. Like, hey, I was there. I was in your spot. Now look at me. I'm trying to help you, teach you, to help you understand that. Just do it. It's a
Yeah.
job.
That's one thing that Ambrose talked about in his interview with Chris Jericho on his podcast. He said, "Look, if this is what McMahon wanted, I'm the man to do it. No matter how stupid it is, no matter how much I hate it, if you want this on your program, I will be the man to do it and put it on your program." So like that goes a long way with a lot of people. Show you'll do the job, and you'll get a job.
I mean, look at Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman came out dressed up in a tutu and bunny
Yeah,
ears,
yeah, he was part of
and
the Rosebuds.
yeah, and then all of a sudden he was world champion, years later. So if you
Yeah,
just, I'm not saying put your head down and just,
eat
yes,
shit all day.
voice your opinion and say, hey, maybe we can do it this way or do it that way, but just do it anyways.
Yeah.
At least you're
Well,
giving insight.
we have to voice our opinion real quick on our amazing sponsorship with M&J Ecological. So if you guys have any nuisance problems, any rodents, rats, critters, things that you don't want in your house anymore, make sure you guys give M&J Ecological a call at 305-697-2258. Again, that's 305-697-2258. Pharaoh, I've been trying to work on a jingle for that phone number. I can't get it. How it works, man.
So I got another question. Pharaoh, where do you see yourself in your wrestling career in the next 2 years, 5 years? And don't give me the stereotype answer. I want to be WWE champ. Realistically, Pharaoh holds the key to his kingdom with the grind and the work that you put in and the talent, because we've seen your talent.
Dude,
Where do you
are very
see
talented.
where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 5 years?
Uh, Honestly, I would like to do something. I think in 10 years, I want to at least have 10 years of experience. I like to open up a promotion, a weekly promotion that advertises a lot of black and minority wrestling. And it's not
Okay.
the stereotype of, oh, you guys look like Nation Domination. No, like everybody has a character and we're talented. I like to do something like that. But besides that, I will hopefully my career can get better. I hope I get better in the progress. I hope that I can land somewhere, anywhere for me. Is what it is. I don't see necessarily the WWE or certain companies as my goal. I always wanted to wrestle in Japan. I like to wrestle in England and the British area and stuff like that. I think those are cool to wrestle. I plan on wrestling in Chile next year for a little bit of time. I just want to get better, dude. I just want to be better, and I want to be an asset to any wrestling promotion or just the business itself. So I just want to be known as, hey, okay, Pharaoh, he's a really great wrestler. I don't have to be in the WWE as WWE champion. Years ago I wanted to be the first black WWE champion. That's already been done, so I really don't see it as a goal for me anymore. I just would like to break the barrier of all the black wrestlers have to be in the same group, or all the black wrestlers are thugs, or all the black wrestlers are listening to come out to rap music. Not all black people like rap music. I just don't want that whole stereotype of black wrestlers having that. And maybe if my character can make people don't want to see more black wrestlers acting like me, then I think that should be used as a symbol of saying, okay, then if you don't want to see the angry black man, then he's not the angry black man anymore. He's just angry Pharaoh Johnson. You gotta use it,
Yo.
and that's why I use that the things that I say on the microphone. I know it bothers a lot of people, but this reality is what you set a lot of us to be doing. You know, a lot of black wrestlers come out there, and when I say they juking and jiving to the white man, reality they are either they coming out dancing or they coming out mean and they're throwing their fists up and they all nation domination type of gimmick. And that's not even being that's not cool. That's might as well say every white wrestler comes out should be coming out with a lynch in their hand and chewing tobacco and wearing overalls. Or, you know, like we got to get out of this stereotype of thinking that anybody that's not a white American is either a foreigner or they're just heels, they're just mad, they're angry. You gotta get out of that shit, man. And I think black wrestlers, out of all everybody in this organization, we just now got to the time where it's okay for a wrestler to be gay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when in the hell are we gonna get out of this time where we're not in the 1950s, we're in 2020, and we're still living in a mindset that a black wrestlers are still just stereotyped. It's just
Right.
come on, like Booker T is great, but they still made him look like a fool at a certain point of the time. You know, Kofi Kingston was playing as a Jamaican. In reality, he's from Ghana, West Africa, the same place my great grandmother is from. So why you got a black man acting like another persona just he has dreads? Come on now.
Yeah, which that threw me for a loop too. I was just like, what? Like, because it was the first 6 months he was speaking with a Jamaican accent, and all of a sudden they just nixed it. And it's like, wait, he can speak perfect English. Like, what the hell is that? But what
Remember,
is your
New Day was like, wait, aren't you Jamaican?
yeah? What is your thoughts on like the black wrestlers now that are in major companies like a Desmond Xavier or Rich Swann or Leo Rush or even a Leon Ruff, who's the NXT Great North American Champion right now.
Or our favorite one, Kenny King.
Well, the thing is, I don't watch a lot of Kenny King anymore. Last time I watched him, he was at TNA. But they're not.
We have major heat with him. He
Major heat. He knows it
owes us
too.
he owes us a drink, and he hasn't repaid us yet.
Yeah, but one thing I can tell you, he's a phenomenal wrestler. And one day,
Oh, great wrestler.
Oh
yeah. I think if none of these wrestlers are not in bigger organizations, they stay true to themselves. They can do what they want to do with themselves. But a lot of times when you see it on TV where millions of people are looking at it, they're gonna still be in a stereotype. You know, a lot of black wrestlers who come on TV, and like I said, they just come out straight to rap music. You know, or a lot of them just gotta be just. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the black wrestlers on the indie scene are being true to themselves. A lot of guys they sign that dotted line. Next thing you know, it's like they just giving away their life, you know, to that organization. These organizations, I'm not gonna say the organization, but the organizations that basically do what the hell they want to do with you. And I think they just don't get to use their full potential. And it just hurts. It breaks my heart to see that.
it sets it back basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you want to tell them so bad. Like I can't tell nobody what to do with their lives, but it's like, come on, dude. You're preaching this and you say this, and then you go sign up, and then don't be sad for the next 3 years. You're being looked like a fool. We should already know this was coming, and that's just like I don't know. I wish certain people in power would just learn to just stop living in the past time because every black wrestler, or like I said, on the indie scene, are being true to themselves and being different characters and different personas, and they can wrestle and stuff like that. Then when they get on TV, when millions of people can see them, they back in that same stereotype characters,
Yeah.
robbing people, pickpocket people.
I do have to say that there is one black wrestler that I think he doesn't play the puppet part, but he's also not. He's in a company that doesn't like speak to millions of fans, and that's Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah, he's a very great wrestler, like a very great. He's in Ring of Honor. He's the pure champion, right?
Yes, yeah, and he doesn't come out to any gimmicks. It's just him. And he's a very big advocate. I mean, I follow him on Twitter. I follow his wife, Jordine Grace, on Twitter. He's a very advocate for speaking his mind. And a lot of times it sets him back. It puts him in a box. But he always says, I want to speak the truth.
Yeah, I think that's the like the whole ACH situation,
Yep.
he had every right to be upset. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. And then, people, and the thing is too, what I'm starting to do is kind of cut back from being on the internet, kind of like delete a lot of my accounts and stuff because, like, for example, the whole situation happened with the t-shirt thing. And then you got people say, well, I supported you, but I lost respect when you said this by so and so. And I'm like, yo, he probably can say that because he was working with that person and saw firsthand how that person was. I'm not saying what he said was true because I don't know that. But it's like it just irks me, to a lot of these black wrestlers they start voicing their opinion. Then you see all these fans, well, stop crying and all this shit. And back in the day, the world wasn't so politically correct. But it's like, dude, like these people getting away with black facing, they get away with a lot of shit, and it's just like we're still in this mindset of just continue to do that. And then when you're black and you open your mouth, you're just mad. They just say, "Oh, you're just trying to find a reason to complain." A great wrestler who I think is probably the best black wrestler that's wrestling right now. Period. I will say is Jay Lethal. He's a guy
Yep.
that never you've seen
Yes.
on the biggest companies, but he's so freaking talented, dude. And couldn't believe that he's still freaking young.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
still young, dude, and that's another guy who could
Hmm.
do so many characters, do so many gimmicks, and can do everything he can do in the ring. But he's another guy too that I feel like the reason why he won't sign because he doesn't want to lose true to himself. And a lot of these other wrestlers that are not black, I see them come to these companies the same name, the same persona that they had before. Why does a black guy come drop everything? I just don't get it.
Yeah. Man, you are out here just dropping knowledge right now. I'm like speechless. I don't know what to say. uh, Chris, what you got?
Now you spoke on Jay Lethal, and I do have to agree with you. Is he is a very talented person, not just a wrestler. He's a very talented person. I mean, like you said, he could go into character. I mean, he has the best Ric Flair. He has the best
Easily
Macho
the best.
Man. And
Woo, woo.
exactly, and when he does the Macho Man, like the freak out, yeah, and it's just like
Bring it
that's
on top of me.
you right. And if you turn the TV off or just put it on mute or not even put it on mute, but if you turn your back, you wouldn't know if it's a black man or if it's a white guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I think I agree with you that Jay Lethal he's a great wrestler, a great character, and he's underutilized.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he first stepped on the scene in TNA, he was a squash guy. He was getting demolished by Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, everything. Then all of a sudden, people loved him and fell in love with him as a jobber, and that's what got him his push.
I
And
think
then
that
they put the title on him in ROH for a year and a half, and he was the most hated heel, but he was the best heel in that time frame.
him and ACH had some killer classics in Ring of Honor. I remember that one match I stayed up like 2 o'clock in the morning when I discovered Ring of Honor on like normal television. I think it was like just graduated high school. And dude, I had no job, I had shit to do. And I remember just like staying up late at night. I was like, oh shit, this is Ring of Honor. And I watched it, and it was I don't know if it was did it have a TV title?
Yep, they still
I
do.
think I think Lethal was a TV champion, and he
Yep.
had some guy with the book
Oh, Truth
who's
Martini. Truth Martini.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a title match against. He had a title match. He defended against ACH, and at this time, Michael Elgin was the world champion. So this is how he had a mullet. So that's how old it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that match, and this is my first time seeing ACH wrestle. I seen Jay Lethal before, but I saw him, and I'm like, God damn, dude! I remember the match ended in a draw. The time limit went out, and I was on my edge of my seat, and I was just like, dude, like this is great ass wrestling. I didn't see no typical stereotype gimmicks. I just saw a straight heel, face, just
Hmm.
back and forth action. And I think that's what made me fall in love with watching ACH too.
Yeah.
But Jay Lethal, man, he's such a fantastic wrestler. I think one day that's one guy. If I ever want to wrestle, it'll be him. That might be my only dream opponent in my entire life is wrestling Jay Lethal.
We
Right.
have
Well,
we have a Jay Lethal story. If you ever get a chance to YouTube it, um, It was Supercard of Honor in 2017 in Lakeland. Joe and I were there. He wrestled Cody Rhodes in a Texas bull rope match.
Great match.
Great match. He came out in jeans, cowboy boots, and a cutoff white shirt, just like Dusty used to come out in.
Mm-hmm.
And Cody came out the same exact way, and it was just hitting
They beat
each
the
other.
shit out of each other.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of each other. It was not a traditional Jay Lethal match. It was just they beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of those type of matches in CCW. A lot of those
And
old school matches.
I think your Jay Lethal comment of being like the one all-star match, dream match that you want answers our next question, which would be if you could have a 5-star match with anybody in the world, dead or alive, who would it be? And pretty sure you just is it still Jay Lethal?
You said dead or alive, man. I think that might be a little difficult to kind of answer right about now. He's one person I would love to wrestle. If I could go back in time, I think my style of wrestling will fit in. I would like to wrestle a Bradshaw. I'm not talking about the JBL. I'm talking about the
Justin
APW.
Hawk Bradshaw.
I'm
Justin
talking
Hawk
about
Bradshaw.
the clothesline from Hell Bradshaw. I like to wrestle him. You spoke about New Jack. And New Jack is not my favorite wrestler in the whole world, but I understand him. And if I had a match with him, as long as I don't say the wrong shit, I think I would have a great match. I think he's another guy.
Listen to what the fuck he has to say. Do not interrupt him when putting the match together. And if you hurt him, you better call him. That's all I have to say.
if I truly wanted to have a wrestling match, like a straight shoot amateur wrestling match, it'd be pretty. Even though I die in seconds, it'd be pretty.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on someone like we asked this question to a few people. What are your thoughts on someone like Alex Ocean who can go from the deathmatch stuff to real or not, you know what I'm saying, like CCW, pure wrestling, and then go back to the deathmatch getting stabbed in the head? What are your thoughts on that? And have you ever thought of jumping into deathmatch or anything like that?
I fucking love Alex.
Yeah.
I remember. No, seriously, I remember when I started training, and he was in the army gimmick when he first started. You know, this is before he became the Alex Ocean. And like, dude, I respect him, and I think it's more of like a respect thing. We both respect each other. But would I do a death match? At first, I just thought it was some stupid ass shit. I thought it was like dumb to me because I'm like, dude, like I thought it was a fake wannabe ECW type of stuff. But then when I sat there and watched a lot of his matches and like sitting there watching them, like, okay, there's a different concept about it because it's different. Would I do a death match? It'll probably be just against Alex, or maybe I have to do a couple just to understand it and take the feel of it. But that's one person too. I really want to wrestle CCW, and I'd rather I want the indie Alex Ocean. I don't want the CCW Alex Ocean because I feel like that's kind of holding him back from being who he is. And I think like when I watch him being in CCW's Alex Ocean, it's nothing to what I've been seeing on the internet, Alex Ocean. So it's like I want to wrestle that Alex Ocean. I will take the thumbtacks. I will take the glass tables and stuff from him. You know, just because I love him to death, and two, it's just I just want to wrestle him, dude.
He's an all-around great dude. Like, I mean, I stood
really
there Saturday for multiple times, more than 20 minutes, just sitting there talking with him about just his matches and, you know, just future, you know, and everything like that. And I tried getting some peek behind the curtain, like break kayfabe, like, hey, how do you stick a skewer in your head? Like, how do you, you know, I just want to try it once.
Chris's son is a deathmatch wrestler as well.
Yeah, I mean, he came out of his room and he had his, you know, replica AEW belt on, his little kid belt, and he had a Nerf dart stuck to his head. And of course, I took a picture of it and I sent it to Joe, and then I DM'd Alex Ocean like, bro, my son's a deathmatch wrestler too, and he's a champ. Look, he's got a belt.
Oh man.
I don't know what my son would think, dude. I don't know if he's gonna like wrestling or not, but that'd be a pretty interesting thing.
I try to get my son to watch as much as possible. He's 2 years old, you know, he's into it. Chris's son's a little older, so
my son's 5, and he watches AEW with me because that's all I watch is AEW and CCW and some other independents like TNA and everything like that. But when it comes to deathmatch wrestling and Alex Ocean's on, my wife watches deathmatch wrestling with me, and she loves it. She cannot watch AEW or WWE. She says it's just stupid to her. But when we watch deathmatch wrestling, it's after he's asleep, and we call it adult wrestling. It's the weirdest thing. And right before he goes to bed, he goes, "Oh, you guys gonna watch adult wrestling?" I'm like,
That's so
"Yeah,
weird. I didn't know this. I didn't. He's shooting on me right now. I didn't know any of this.
yeah,
I think what death match is like when I watch those death match companies that do it, it's like the last little bit of like the old like just non PG type of shit you see. So it's like I
Yeah.
think that's why a lot of those guys that like those hardcore, super hardcore guys watch it because it's like the last like old crap that you can get.
right,
Like you won't see anything anymore. Like I realize like what I don't understand and what I don't get is that we're in this time that you can't say this, you can't do this, and it's not about the racial thing, but it's like you can't. Let's say you can't have diva contests, no bikini, bra and panty stuff. You can't do that stuff no more because in the PC world. But I'm like, if you can watch TV, right? Like I remember watching like Snowfall, and they're talking about effing each other. They showing people having sex. They saying, and it's on regular TV. I'm like, if we already know if this is a show, you're watching wrestling. It's a show. So
Yeah.
we gotta get out of that reality of we can't say this, we can't do that because we piss somebody off. But the purpose of watching wrestling is to be hooked on that and forget everything that's on the outside world. Certain characters can talk about reality, but besides that, you watch wrestling. You don't care about what I have to do at work tomorrow. You don't care about what's going on outside the world. You just care about what's going on there because it's a TV show, regardless of how we present it, regardless how we want it to be seen as. But it's people still say if you say, "Do you watch wrestling?" They're gonna tell you it's fake, no matter what. It's
Yeah.
no matter what you can do. I know it's real, but they probably say it's fake. So if they already thinking it's fake, why can't you just present it as some fake thing for them to watch and enjoy and get a taste of everything? I think that everybody's so afraid now. You can't be afraid to say things or do things. That's why I'm not afraid to say stuff on the microphone because at the end of the day, it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask permission. And
oh, 100%.
I think that's what's wrong with the wrestling world now is that we're so afraid to ask forgiveness. We just don't want to ask permission or we don't bother to just avoid it and not. We just don't want to do it. And I think watching like those death match stuff is just like, hey, this remind me of somewhat of the '90s. I get to see blood. I get to see all types of crap that I don't see anymore, and that's why I enjoy it. And that's part of why I enjoy it too.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's 100%. It's 100%. Just blood and guts. That's it.
Oh. All right, Pharaoh. Well, man, this has been absolutely incredible. First things first, I just want to touch on a couple things really quick before we wrap this up. The fact that you want to go into a wrestling school that is majority black is speaking very highly of your character because you're not wanting to just go for the fame and success for yourself. You're more worried about the leadership and the role in the black community for the wrestlers. And it's not a big group of people, but there are wrestlers that you can bring in and help within those 10 years that need that leadership because we know in the black community there's not a lot of leadership, especially after all the shit that went down in 94. But that's politics and we keep that out of the show. But that speaks a lot on your character and who you are as a person. And I've gained so much more respect for you over the past month and a half because we've actually talked to you a lot more off camera than on camera, and becoming to know you as a person and as a friend in the business. We want to say thank you for that, and being such a humble ass dude. And we wish you luck on everything you do in the future, obviously, and hopefully when you make it to those other companies, a bigger company, or you open your own company, the door is always open for the Wrestling Paradox podcast, and we can talk to you again.
Yeah.
So again, we want to thank you for coming on. We want to thank you for being a guest on the Wrestling Paradox podcast. And I'm gonna give you you got 60 seconds. You can close out the show, do whatever you want, say whatever you want, call anybody out. I don't care.
Nah, I ain't calling nobody out because I don't got time for that
I
shit. But anybody
fucking
that's
love it. I
watching this,
love it.
anybody that's watching this, um, just always understand that it's never a time where you can't learn the wrestling business, and especially a lot of young people that want to be wrestlers. Train, don't speak. Learn as much as you can, and make sure you be 100% ready to wrestle and to just respect the business, respect everything that's been given to you. And if you feel like you're being really disrespected, pull them to the side and talk to them, and just never sell your soul for anybody, but also know where you at, and there's a time and place to handle yourself as an adult, because we're all adults. Nobody's children. So that's something I would want to tell people, especially to a lot of black people, black wrestlers in particular. I can't speak for everybody else because I've only been in business for 3 years, but always, always hold your ground. Don't let nobody make a mockery of yourself, because we know who you are. You already know the first thing they see is that 5-letter word, but you're more than that 5-letter word. So let it be known, let it be shown. But also don't bite your tongue. Don't let nobody disrespect you.
I respect
Perfect.
that 100%, man. That's beautiful.
100%.
So, um, again, Pharaoh Johnson, CCW, formerly
Oh, hey,
number one
one
contender
more
and
thing,
fighting his way back up. Oh, go ahead.
one more thing. I want to give a big thank you to this. Besides my coach that trained me, and Bobby Sanford is one, and not. I think the class that I train with, because I love him the most. But it's one particular person that I think my 3 years of wrestling for the most, and that's Jake St. Patrick, who helped me on off days. We trained at the school, who's given me so much knowledge. I love that man to death, and he's somebody that I hope and pray and I can see in the next couple of years of being on TV. He's all the credentials in the world to make it. He's somebody I think that people don't really utilize him to his full potential, but he's somebody that has all the talent in the world, and I hope and he make it. And I hope that's the one person I want to make it in this the wrestling business the most is Jake St. Patrick. So thank you, brother. I love you. I respect you, and just keep pushing it, man. And Sage
Dude,
Scott, his tag team partner, they got the shit.
dude,
He's a
they
big
are
dude.
serious.
He's
That's
a
a
big
big
dude.
dude right there. Breaking news, actually, since he just brought up Jay St. Patrick. Chris, you don't know this yet, but in 2 weeks we have scheduled Mr. St. Patrick for the Paradox. So that's pretty big news for
Nice.
us. So we are excited to have him on here, and we will be bringing the heat. Where's he coming out of? Wakanda, right? That's where they were built from the other night. I love it. I love it. All
My
right.
brother, that's not Wakanda. That's just an African sheep,
Pharaoh Johnson, inside the Wrestling Paradox podcast. Thank you so much, my boy. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Say his motherfucking name right there. Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
say something stupid.
Something stupid.